Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I hope you can hear me all right. My name is Deepti Mittimani. I represent M2P. We're a fintech based in India, in the Middle East, and Africa. And very recently, we've begun our journey in the ASEAN region with a special emphasis on Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Singapore. I'm here to discuss with you some things that we've done right in the fintech industry and what we have learned I'd like to share with you. So what is fintech? Fintech is actually financial services and technology. Financial services are basically anything that moves money, that shapes finance and economy in the world is financial services, led by financial services providers, banks, EMI players, regulators, etc. Technology, of course, is technology that enables these financial services, and that makes fintech. Being part of a fairly advanced technology provider at M2P myself, technology is something we do, for sure. But what we also do and what we lay special emphasis on is the finance, the fin part of the fintech. And that starts with financial service providers for us. What moves and drives the financial service providers? What is of concern to financial services providers? Your banks here, there are EMI players here, there are other licensed players in the financial services space. What is of concern to them? What are the needs and demands of these financial service providers? And how, addressing these needs and demands of the financial services sector is important for a thriving fintech industry in a country is what I'd like to discuss with you. Of course, along with that goes the technology aspect. What some of you, most of you today are, very used to running everything through technology. Your services, your products, your launches, all of those are run and run by technology. So how do the two of them go together? So let's start. The first part of fintech, financial services, right? We have done some good work with financial services players across the world, and we have observed some themes, some emerging themes that repeat in every region, in every market, in every country that we provide these financial services and technology services in. There are three key aspects of any financial services. In the audience here, there are bankers, there are financial service players, there are technology companies, and I'm certain each one of you are looking at fintech in some or the other angle like this. There is payments, there is banking, and there is lending. And we have partners, we have customers. We ourselves, as customers of financial services, are subject to each one of these. We are users of this. Let me go just a minute or two into each one of them, and I'll also you will understand. It'll resonate to you why some of these are important trends, and these are here to stay. These are going to shape the fintech industry in the next couple of years, at least, if not more. In lending, it is becoming holistic. Anurag was mentioning earlier that lending is still very underserved, and that is true in most countries, if not all. And how fintech industry is changing lending is incredible. This is one of my favorite areas of fintech, and we do a lot of work in especially this space, democratizing lending. Big words, not really big words, but what we mean is take lending to where it belongs, to people where lending is needed, in the form that they need. Microloans, nano loans, these are here to stay. We're doing that, and all of this is being enabled by technology today. Buy now, pay later. As customers ourselves, this is here to stay. We all use buy now, pay later, not because we need credit, but because of the convenience it provides. And it is only making things better and better and better for payments. We, in fact, do not even visualize buy now, pay later as a credit product. We look at it as a payment product. You do buy now, pay later to complete your payment transactions. This is here to stay. On the other spectrum, on the business aspect, invoice financing, supply chain financing, anything that provides credit to keep the business moving, to keep the business running, again, is a trend which is shaped by the fintech industry. Thanks to the fintech industry, this has become a lifeline to the backbone of economies, which are the micro segments and the small scale industries. All of these are shaping the digital lending in a big way. And I'm pretty certain the bankers in the audience, the fintech players in the audience are all dabbling into one or the other forms of this kind of digital lending. Moving on to payments. Payments is no more, I give cash. Cash is out of our lives. Most of us, at least in this room, I'm certain cash is out of our lives. But even regular payments, the way we used to look at payments, take out a card, make a standard payment, do internet banking, do mobile banking, even that has transformed in a very big way. Most of us today are used to finance and payments in the embedded form. And it is true. We do not ourselves just go and open our internet banking pages to do a payment transaction today. Yes, occasionally that is done. But payment today for us is when we need it, how we need it, at the time when we need it, and get out. Payment is all around us, but it is not visible. It's not in the face. It's not something which is disconnected from what we do in our day-to-day lives. Hence, contextual payments, which is what embedded payments is. Hyper-personalized. What is hyper-personalized? Payments the way I like to do. If I am doing a mobile wallet payment, I continue to do that. If somebody in the audience likes to do only a card-based payment, contactless, how the business enables you to only use that form of payment. Hyper-personalized payments are again here to stay. And the last one, but which is subtle but very important, is payments and embedded finance is becoming more integrated. What do I mean by integrated? All of us here have used some form of Gcash, Paymaya, bank-led wallet programs, GrabPay. What does that mean? It means businesses, ecosystem players, merchants, banks, everybody coming together to make just one transaction of maybe 100 pesos happen for you. How is that happening? A very strong integrated ecosystem play. All of us have participated in such an ecosystem in the industry, and this kind of a participation will continue to grow. That's embedded finance. Moving on to banking technology. As bankers, we all know that in some way we are all technology players ourselves, right? What do banks do today? Banks are I think banks are one of the largest users of technology because they are the ones who are driving this whole fintech revolution. Without banks, without the financial service players, there would be no fintech industry, truly, because fintech is not only technology, it is the financial services. But for banks to be able to be cutting edge fintech players, they have to move towards the cloud age banking. And they have. We ourselves have witnessed how well banks have transformed themselves, how they are moving away from legacy into digital systems, and how they are looking at fintech or technology as enablers and not just as something they have to do. Hence, the second most important part for banking technology is adapting business models. It's no more that the banks are looking at technology as if, okay, I make an investment of X million dollars for the next 5 years and somebody runs this and I forget about it. No. Banks today, the way we see them, are tech companies themselves. They know technology, they understand technology, they invest in the right technology, and they have adapted their business to meet the technological demands and to keep up with technology. And by doing that, what the banks are also doing very well is their growth is ensured. Banks are not in the technology business, mind you. They have to run the economy. They have to grow their portfolio. They have to increase credit. They have to do financial inclusion. That's growth for them. While doing that, they have to do it profitably. Otherwise, what is the need for the banks? And while being profitable, one thing they have to look after is sustainability. What is sustainability? The growth that they have seen continues to remain. Profitability continues to remain. But at the same time, COVID has taught all of us, right, that this sustainability, this growth, for it to be maintained, there are some aspects that we have to look after, which is your customer experience, so the customer comes back to you. Your costs, your investments reap the benefits that they are meant to do. And of course, to add to it all, like Anurag mentioned, a very important aspect, which is sustenance of the environment, of the people, strong emphasis on regulations so that things don't fall apart. All of these is equal to sustainability. And the banks are doing this very well. How are they doing it? That's the most important part, which is the tech part of fintech. So moving on to the tech part of fintech, I'd like to talk about a few ways in which the players in the fintech industry are adopting and using technology. I start with banks because, again, like I said, they are a very big part of the fintech industry. Banks are all today utilizing technology in a very, very different way. Their focus is financial services, but their need is technology. And how, as an industry here, we enable these banks to become better players in fintech is what will drive the fintech ecosystem. On the other side of the spectrum, however, are the fintechs. Some of us, most of us, all of us, maybe fintech players, we are heavily into technology, very less into financial services, and that's why we keep going back to the bankers, because they are the experts there. But what's important is the fintech players, heavily into technology, have today disrupted some amazing old school ways of doing finance, doing business, cost models, price models, going to the customers, acquisition strategies, business growth strategies, 0 to 1 strategies. All of these have been very, very well disrupted by these fintech players. So there is a lot of learning for the financial service players to be taken by the fintech. But there is another bigger one, which is the big tech. Now, this is something which all of us use because you cannot live without. I have named some of the big tech players here in the Philippines, but globally there are big tech players. Apple today is also a fintech, a big tech fintech. So is Google, so is Amazon. They're all getting into credit, they're getting into lending. They're getting into your day-to-day payments lives. And why are they doing it? Because they know that that is where the customer engagement is maximum. And how are they doing it? They're doing it with technology. Do they have the financial services expertise? Maybe yes. But where do they go to the financial service expertise for? To the bankers, to the financial services providers. So here is the chance to collaborate between all of these players and truly create world-class fintech ecosystem. There is a last one, which is something as responsible industry players we must take along. Those are the traditional financial houses. For example, the smaller banks, maybe the rural banks, maybe the thrift banks, maybe the cooperative segment. These segments which have not yet adopted technology fully, as responsible players in the industry, we will have to take them along. Financial services players today, the big ones, have to advise them, take them under their fold and tell them how to adopt technology, show them the ways. Fintech players such as ourselves should go to them and provide them the means to adopt and grow. So that's the technology aspect of fintech that we have done. And I'll just conclude with this one important slide, which is basically takeaways that I'd like to leave you all with. Something that we take very seriously when we go into any new market and we'd like to work with the fintech industry. The very first one is, the technology and platform play for any fintech industry. Basically, there is enough and more technology, very good technology. There is agile technology, no-code, low-code platforms. There is a lot of technology around cloud. There is digital that's happening, user experience technology, etc. So in short, you can broad base your core technology and you have a chance, whether you're a fintech player or a banker or a traditional finance house, you have a chance to broad base your core technology. Hence, you could be you have an opportunity to be a tech player in the fintech industry. Then there's this other opportunity for being a marketplace, almost like an integrated play, the ecosystem play, where I was mentioning to you that the merchant, the consumer, the provider, the bank, there's so many players who come and integrate their services and give you just one awesome transaction experience. There is the integrated ecosystem play if you want to play that role. But there's another very important and nice role to play in the fintech industry, that is the one that financial service providers will lead, which is basically growth, profitability, and sustenance again. So collaboratively, fintech providers, bankers, and other players in the ecosystem could actually shape up models, bring down the cost, bring up experience, take the industry forward sustainably, make it more mature, make it more thriving, enable new players to come in and play in the industry. It's not just for incumbent players, right? Newer banks should come, they should thrive as well. Newer fintech should come, they should thrive as well. We should all collaborate. And that is the business excellence opportunity that we all have in the fintech industry. That's us, M2P. Like I said, we are a young fintech, just about 8 years old. We have started our work with some players in the Philippines fintech ecosystem. We're working with banks, we're working with fintech players. We are here to support the Philippines industry, and we hope to work with a lot of you. Thank you.